Namaste and welcome back to Food for the Soul. Today we will talk about a very interesting topic, the mysteries of the mind. Mind is a mystery because there is no scientific instrument that can see where is your mind. It's very difficult. Although mind sees everything, it's very difficult for you to see the mind. We can experience the mind. We see dreams. We can fly everywhere right within the mind. There's so many activities taking place in the mind, but it's very difficult to control the mind. Ayurveda and yoga talk about mind as the central aspect of healing. The Bhagavad Gita goes on to say that there is no greater friend than a controlled mind, and there is no greater enemy than an uncontrolled mind. So if we control our mind becomes our best friend. Now let's dive into the location of the mind. Now the consciousness is spread everywhere, just like you have a light bulb and its light spreads everywhere. The mind similarly spreads its awareness in the entire body. But where is the mind located? The Upanishads give us the answer. Let me give you a clue. When a girl and a boy or two lovers break up, then what symbol do they use to break up? It's a broken heart. When two people come together, so we show a red loving heart. Why don't we show a kidney? Why don't we show a broken kidney or an intestine? Why not? Because the feelings are in the region of the heart. So that should give you a clue. So manaha, the mind, means the heart. So your heart is where the mind is where the heart is. Heart is also the center of prana, energy. Therefore, when you feel something, your heart races, then your whole body pressure changes because the prana, the pressure change takes place in your heart or your feelings. Your body type determines what kind of feeling. Your hormones determine how you interpret those feelings. So there is a mind-body axis. In fact, Ayurveda goes on to say, what is the central aspect of your mental health? It's your digestion. Very interesting that your health, mental health, depends on your digestion. How is that? Mind is subtle. It's like a software. It's wired to your brain. So brain is like the hardware. So there is a software and hardware, and both need to coordinate. If you look at any medical book, it says you developed a feeling and there was a nerve impulse. But where and how the feeling developed, that is a mystery. That is the mystery of the mind. The movement, the feeling of the nerve, that can be measured, right? What happens in the brain, that can be measured. Now how is that? In the working of the brain, there are chemicals called neurotransmitters. Serotonin is the main neurotransmitter. Where does it originate? Where is it produced? Yes, it's in your gut, in your intestines. So your good bacteria is responsible for your good digestion. So today, scientists have realized the importance of gut bacteria, gut health. So therefore, because of eating bad food, most people develop leaky gut. Because of taking too many toxic chemicals, toxic foods, we destroy gut bacteria. When we take antibacterial medication, it not only destroys the bad bacteria, but it also destroys the good bacteria. And when the good bacteria is also destroyed, our immune system becomes weak, our digestion becomes weak. Now, the good bacteria produces, your digestion produces good amount of serotonin, and it helps transfer so much of data. You know, you need good optical fiber cable to transmit all the data in the internet. Similarly, you need a good wiring in the brain to transmit data, to interpret data. Dopamine is the other chemical which is also produced in the gut. Now what does dopamine do? Whenever you do something, you experience some pleasure. And what happens? You get a burst of dopamine. You become happy. You want to experience it again. No, it's just like it can be both good and bad. So what is good? For example, I practice meditation, and that also gives you a surge of these neurotransmitters. Now that's a good dopamine. But when you get addicted to like a cigarette, So next time you want that same kick. So you need more dopamine. So you are straining your body to squeeze out the same pleasure. So the chemicals can activate for both good and bad habits. So we need to cultivate good habits for them to be balanced and them to flow properly. The third one is histamine, and histamine is produced by the white blood cells, your immune system, to protect you. Now, if we have too much of negative thoughts in the mind, then this negativity spreads in the body. For example, anger is first generated in the mind, then it heats up the body. It raises your pitta, it heats up your liver. And when this anger continues for a long time, when that stress extends for over a long period of time, your blood pressure, your circulation, all this raises and it causes failure. I met a friend of mine who had a heart attack recently. It was when he was fighting over something, and when the fight got brutal, his blood pressure went up, he got very angry. He said, "Wish I could control myself." It's not possible at that moment. You have to prepare for it. So whatever is in your mind eventually transfers into your body, and whatever is in your body, eventually that energy transfers into the mind. So your digestion, according to Ayurveda, the final product of digestion is ojas. Now this ojas, when it is produced, it reinforces, energizes your brain, all your nerves. So there is a beautiful highway where all this energy is being transmitted. It strengthens you, makes you knowledgeable. You have a strong memory. On the other hand, if you are always negative in your emotions, you are envious, upset, jealous, all these negative emotions build up and the toxicity builds up. Eventually, this results in a chronic health issue, acidity or high adrenal stress. So there are two other transmitters which are generated from the adrenal gland. So they raise cortisol, and they can cause, when stress is continued over a period of time, that's when your body breaks down. It's just like you're driving a car at 200 miles per hour continuously for hours together, your engine will be finished. So be careful that you follow a good routine. And if we want a strong mind, so the software and hardware should work in unison, right? So that's what Ayurveda. So Ayurveda says if you want to heal your mind, you have to heal the body. And if you want to heal the body, you have to heal the mind. So for every chronic health issue, you have to deal with it in a body-mind axis. Then all the functions of the mind can be performed very nicely. Now let's look at the 6 functions of the mind. The first function is Indriya Nigraha, control of the senses. The second one is called Swasya Nigraha, self-restraint. Now by following control of the senses, we are balancing the mind. You should satisfy your senses, you should eat but not overeat, for example. You should have self-restraint. There are so many occasions where we just want to get angry. But if we control ourselves, in a few moments we will realize, oh, that would have been a waste of time. So you become deep in your thought. So that is called self-restraint. Now third one is called Uha. Uha means to make hypotheses, to come to conclusions. So the mind has the capacity to come to conclusions. So the fourth one is called Vichara, means to think. Thinking, willing, feeling. Everything that happens in this world begins with a thought. I want to eat an ice cream. It's a thought. Then the mind powers your prana, your body, right? The mind pushes the prana, prana pushes the body. I go to the ice cream shop and I have a nice ice cream. Then Dhyaya, the next function is meditation. The ability to meditate is with the mind. And the last one is Sankalpa. Sankalpa means to accept a conclusion. So Sankalpa Vikalpa, to accept, reject. So your mind thinks, meditates, and then accepts or rejects a conclusion. Your mind can make the hypothesis. Your mind is very, very powerful. So it is the powerful instrument. Now, if this instrument is dirty, if this instrument is not strong enough, so we have something called as the strong mind, and then we have the medium strength mind, and then we have the weak mind. Do you have a strong mind? Then you should have these 14 qualities.